Yeah, we opened with Virginia Tech on Saturday. This past weekend was the opening of Lacrosse. We didn't have a game, so it's kind of a little strange to kind of sit around and look at all the other teams playing, and we still have another week before we have our opener. I think the team is ready. Like they want to play. They're excited to play. They feel good about where we're at and the work that they've put in to get to this point. So I think just anticipation and kind of see what we look like when we're not playing ourselves, because that gets, we know our plays, defense and offense, so you can kind of, not let the other side be as successful as we hope to be on Saturday.
I know you lost a pretty special player in Shannon this past offseason. How do you look about, replacing her and is there anybody in particular that you're pointing to right now?
Yeah, I think, Shannon was a fantastic player for us last year, scored, I think, 83 goals, which was 43 more than she scored as a junior. And I think she had a great weekend. She's at Arizona State now. She had a great weekend playing for them this weekend. I don't think you replace Shannon with one player. I think the difference with our team this year is we're going to be a very balanced offense. So a little bit of, sharing the wealth there a little bit. So, I think sometimes as coaches you go in, you're not really sure who's going to step into shoes that are vacated. But certainly, excited about a few players and kind of see what it looks like when we play against someone other than ourselves.
Given the momentum that, this program has been building over the past few years, NCAA tournament appearances and the experience that comes with those tournament appearances, what do some of these returners, lean on from that past experience in Gainesville, and how does that help you guys, moving forward here?
I think, anytime that you have experience being in tough games and, being able to play against the best of the best, I think, that confidence comes from there. So whether it was someone that maybe didn't start last year but got a lot of playing time, played well at the end of the year, they kind of use that as that kind of springboard into the next season and kind of how they look at themselves going forward. And I think a lot of teams, a lot of programs are they're not expecting what's coming. I think they're going to think we graduated 17 people, and that's a lot of people on a team, but everybody graduates people every year. So it's how you restock. And I think, with our team, I don't think other programs are going to think that we can repeat in the SoCon, and our team wants to do that. In the Big South, our team wants to, repeat in the Big South, and want to do something our program hasn't done, which is win a first round NCAA game. So that goal is still there. I have 2 fifth years in Kate Vanderland and Kayla Soltis that came back for a 5th year for us, which is fantastic. And, they're hoping to help lead this team to do something we haven't done before.
Why did they want to come back in particular?
I think for that reason, I think, they weren't done yet. They're both really good friends, so that always helps. Kayla has a younger sister, Abby, who plays on the team, so I think that had something to do with it. We do have a lot of family ties on our team, and so I think that you do have that connection that you see at practice and you see in games where they it's just having another opportunity to get to play with her sister. And I think the talent that we know that's coming back this year, from our talented returners to a talented freshman group that's going to push everybody else.
Last thing for me, for somebody that doesn't know, what is it like to recruit lacrosse in the South? I know transfer portal era, you've got people coming and going, but what is that experience like for a sport that's maybe not the first thing that people think about in the South?
Yes, so lacrosse in the South is definitely educating people around town to come to a game because they haven't heard of it. With recruiting, There is some great lacrosse around Atlanta, and kind of North Atlanta and the suburbs up there. So there is good lacrosse up there in the South. But we kind of recruit from all over. We have a couple from Colorado, Wisconsin. We got a couple Texas kids, New Hampshire. So we really get a little bit of everything, along with all of our Georgia. I think we have at least one Georgia player almost every year on our program. But it is a lot kind of your New York and kind of mid-Atlantic, Philly and Maryland are still kind of your big lacrosse hotbeds. And so, sometimes those, getting them to learn about Mercer. And I think what's been helpful when you're winning and you're in the NCAA tournament and your name's coming up on selection show, that's pretty exciting. And then now they actually, even alum will be like, oh, I saw someone with the Mercer scratch. The word is more out in the lacrosse community about Mercer because it's such a great university and a great place to come and be a student athlete and just educating people. That's a great place. And so kind of getting that word out's been great, but it is definitely, there's not a lot of lacrosse in Macon for sure, but there's a little bit in Savannah and certainly up in the Atlanta area.
Coach, what's impressed you the most about your current team so far? What gives you something warm and fuzzy going into this week?
I think they really enjoy being around each other. I think they get along really well outside of lacrosse. And you always talk about that, team chemistry being such a big thing. Every coach talks about it. And, kind of your culture and your team chemistry. And, when it's great, when it's not so great. But how they are outside of the field is how they're going to play better together on the field. And I think this team has been great. I think the freshman class is kind of an outgoing group, so they have immersed themselves with some of the other classes as well, and they're a talented group as well. So I think just how they are outside. We did a team bonding on Saturday. We did Chopped. If you follow us on Instagram, it's pretty funny. They do such a great job. It's come a long way. We've done it every year that I've been here, and it's one of my favorite team bondings that we do. But I think it's the stuff like that we kind of do those events with them, but they also do stuff like that on their own as well. And I think they genuinely just like hanging out and being around each other. And then you're going to work harder on the field for someone that you just care that much more about. And you kind of we get that feel too from just our alums. Just a number of text messages that I'm getting from alums that are excited about our Virginia Tech game on Saturday.
And then finally, you carry one of the torchbearers for the department with academic prowess and championships on the field and community service. Tell about your philosophy with that and how it goes into how you recruit players.
So academics are important, right? We're not going to have, we did have one former Mercer Bear get drafted into the pros for lacrosse. So we do have that, but they're not going to be making a living playing professional lacrosse anywhere. So how they're going to be academically is how successful they're going to be when they graduate. And I think that's just a reflection on our program and then ultimately on Mercer University. And, community service is just something I grew up with, something that my parents were just really big on, community service. And I went to schools where you had to get so many hours of community service. So it just was always something that we did. And so we do individual community service, meaning they can do their own 10 hours of whatever they want. And then we do a lot of team community services. So I think, recruiting, you want to recruit that kind of player, someone who, wants to give back to the community and wants to, understand that how you do in the classroom affects it. And every coach will tell you if you're not doing well in the classroom, you're probably not doing well in the sport. It all ties together. There's not, anything that you can just be great at lacrosse and everything else can be going to shambles in your life. It doesn't work that way. So you have to take care of everything. And, I think there's a certain type of person that really likes being, doing community service and giving back to others. And we work hard in the recruiting process and, spend a lot of time and, like all of our coaches do here, it's educating them about why this is a great place to be. And, what we expect here is important. And, our GPA is up there. I never honestly thought that we would actually be that high. So Usually it's some of the smaller sports that tend to win that, but was pretty impressed with our numbers last year to get the GPA. I think we did well this fall too.